You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Today's edition of Coffee with Graeme, like all our other editions of the show, is brought to you by Fabric Land Winkler and Evolve Green. In today's episode, two guests will be joining me, and the first guest joining me is going to be joining me inside the university, head coach of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds women's hockey team, Graeme Thomas, joins me today. Graeme was entering his ninth season of coaching with that team this past 2020-2021 season. And let me tell you, what he's been able to do with this UBC program is absolutely phenomenal. Just looking at some of the things that they've been able to do with him as the head coach, he's been able to lead them to 3 Canada West championships back in 2012, 2013. 15-16 and 16-17 today. I'm going to have a chance to ask Graeme about his time before joining UBC, his time with UBC, and just looking ahead to the 2021-2022 season. It's going to be a good one. Today on Coffee with Graeme, after the intro, we'll bring in the man himself, Graeme Thomas, here on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Joining me now on Inside the University, he's on vacation still, but he's here today. It's Graeme Thomas. Graeme, finally good to have you on the show. We've been trying to line this up for a while, but it's great to have you on. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday morning, I guess?
Yeah, it's great to be on the show, and really excited to finally make it work as well. Doing well. The smoke's clearing a little bit out where we are in BC. And the sun's shining, so no complaints today.
Yeah, it's been very smoky, I know, around Manitoba, especially in like the past month. But yeah, the smoke finally clearing up, and it's nice to see that it's sunny out here today in Winnipeg. It's nice that we've been able to get some rain here as well, because we haven't had much of it. But great to know that things are doing well where you're at right now. We're going to dive into yourself now. As of the 2020-2021 season, you were set to enter your 9th season as the head coach of the UBC's women's hockey program. Just speak about what the journey's been like so far for you, being the coach of UBC, and just the accomplishments you've had, but just most notably, just what the journey has been like so far for you.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe, like, when you say it out loud, nine years have gone by, going in the decade season this year. Seems like a bit of a dream of how just, blink and it's gone type thing. And so, yeah, I know, the first season came in, it was I'll never forget that group in that season, and we're just kind of changing history and turning the program around, and that was the goal, set aside. So just a lot of credit to those players on that team that bought into what we wanted to do there, and increase our record, increase our academic performance, our athletic performance, and in the gym, as well. Just all around, just wanted to get better, and that was kind of our kind of our goal and our mission. And it's just been amazing to see where it's taken us, to 3 different nationals, 3 championships, and those 8 seasons that we've played. And we still don't have the big gold medal national championship, and that's something we can talk about maybe a little bit later in the program. But no, really, has been amazing. There's always ups and downs in life, and that's no different in hockey. So we've been through some downs for sure, and whether it's some of the personnel or some of the players that have been a part of our program going through things in life, and or coaches or a program, record wise, kind of the growth and all that. But it has been amazing. It's been a lot of fun. Had a young family when we first came out, and so seeing them grow through it as well and be a part of the program, it's been a dream. It's been great.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And, I had a chance to just read your bio on the UBC website, and they considered it the greatest turnaround in U Sports history across all sports in 2012, 2013, taking a program that won only 1 game the season before, and then boom, you guys are Canada West champions. Just what's that feeling like, just hearing those words, the greatest turnaround across all sports and U Sports history?
I know it really is. It really is just a blessing, like how that all came together. The characters in that team. It was a combination of some players, coming in, that had a lot of pride, but I think a lot of it was the group that was there was just sick and tired of losing. They've been losing for years. And even the program as a whole, as I dug into it more, I got the job late, kind of didn't get out there until like mid-July, and started training camp almost a month later. And I didn't even quite realize the history of our record and our performance in the past. And I think the best season that we'd had been 7 or 8 wins, never won a playoff game in program history. So, we just kind of, once we learned more and more about that, and we got the alumni and people involved, we really just added that fuel to our fire, and our players that were already there sharing the stories of I don't know what I couldn't imagine what that would be like, going through a season with just 1 win. I'm a really competitive person, and I don't I don't know how I would handle that, to be honest. So I think it was just a combination of that, and we came up with a new team identity and a team theme of the 3 R's that are still in our program today and in our locker room. And if you're going to be a part of the Thunderbirds, it's those 3 R's are there, which are just being relentless in everything you do, and how you train, and how you study, and how you compete, and then respect. A lot of it for that first year was gaining respect, earning respect, but also just having mutual respect for the officials, the other team, respecting the team, respecting each other. So a lot of good things there that come out, and then being resilient. And that's individual, personal resilient, as well as kind of team resiliency that we'll go throughout the year. And it wasn't easy, and we just had to build a culture that wanted to win, and they didn't know how to win, obviously. And we saw that early on, and we went to Regina for a preseason tournament, and we were up in the game, and it was third period, mid period, and the other team, I think we were playing actually Manitoba, and they scored a goal, and they scored another one, and all of a sudden our team just collapsed. Just the wind out of the sails, and everybody head down on each other, and then they seemed fine with it after, in the post game meal. So we just had to set some new standards of that this isn't okay, and we had to kind of build back that feeling of, and teaching them how to win one step at a time, and what that means. And like I said, just kudos to those players, that bought into that, because it's one thing to preach it, but the players completely bought in 100%, everybody on board, and that was powerful. And that's kind of, at the end of the day, what pulled us through some of those adversities and pulled us through to winning that championship.
Yeah, you guys go 17-7-4 in that season, and you speak about the culture, the 3 R's. Just speak about what that was like coming in your first year as a head coach of that program and just getting these players to buy in and instilling that culture in this team.
Yeah, it's I think a lot of it was, like I said, the older returning players and the leadership that was there. They wanted to do it, and then, when we weren't around and in the locker room and back in the apartments or off ice or wherever they're going to hang out, it was they were the ones that were kind of carrying the torch and keeping the standard high and believing in that. And then I think our young new incoming players and freshmen it was easy for them to buy into that culture. But we had some definite moments where there's, tears and skating and ups and downs and blood and battling and like just things like that. Like it wasn't easy. There's no question about it. And we had moments of doubt and moments where the team wasn't believing, and we had to pull them back up and lift them back up. And we had great leadership with Caitlin Emig and Kaylee Chinakis were our co-captains that year. And Danielle Dubé was coming out of retirement. And she hadn't played hockey in 20 years. And so she started catching hot though and giving some confidence and know what a goalie can do. And so it was just a combination of all those things. We had a great coaching staff, that's willing to do and support the players wherever possible. And at the end of it, you know what? We had fun. We tried to instill, it was a lot of hard work. But we try to have some fun too and try to keep it light. And I think that's honestly what's been our challenge of late of the years is we feel a lot of maybe, too much pressure, wherever that pressure is coming from. But we all just feel like we haven't won that national title yet, or now the expectation is to be, at the top and at one of the top teams every year. And so I think it's putting some pressure on our players and our culture a little bit, and which is good, but it sometimes can be bad. And we got to remember to have fun and enjoy our time. It goes fast here, and so, anyways, I think our players had that really good balance of having fun and working hard and really coming together and gelling.
Yeah, and it really came together for you guys as the season was, I guess the regular season was coming to an end. You guys won 7 games in a row heading into playoffs. You beat Manitoba to get to the final in the Canada West playoffs, and then you take down the number one seeded Calgary team in the finals after losing that first game of the series. Just speak about what that was like of just seeing this team put it all together at the right time with you guys going on the run to being the Canada West champions and taking down a number one seed like Calgary.
Yeah, that was something else. I'll never forget that playoff run because we went. Regina was really good that year as well. We won our first, I believe, home playoff series going into it, and then we were on the road, on the road, on the road, and it was double overtimes, triple overtimes. We went to 3-game series like every series after that, and so it was interesting. I'll still remember. Yeah, actually, Tatiana Rafter scored I think the overtime goal. She's from Manitoba, from Winnipeg. She's back there now and just had a baby. It's amazing to see these players and stay connected with them and getting involved in coaching. Actually, she is, and scored a big goal in Regina that actually punched our ticket to nationals for the first time ever. And just remembering, like, it was just, you hear, like, whether you're watching NHL or you're watching, whatever hockey it is, male or female, just when you have those moments, it's just euphoric, right? And they don't know quite how to explain it and have words for it. And it's still, even today, it's hard to even kind of explain, because even in that series, we had to come back and win in double or triple overtime to go to the game 3, and whoever won that game got to go to nationals. So it was a very intense game, and It was our first time ever doing it, but yeah, it was something. It was something extremely special, and that took us to that game, or got us through that series, that got us in, and then we went to the Canada West. We're playing the defending national champions and Canada West champions, and Haley Wickenheiser was on the team, and not to mention, I mean, a bunch of Olympians and just really top players, and Danielle Goyette, obviously coached by a Hall of Fame coach, and is now with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and so that was really tough. And like in all these series, like we lost game 1 on the road, and we had to battle back and take it to game 3. And, and I'm not sure if their team thought we could do it. But all along, which maybe helped us, if teams maybe thought after they won game 1 that, hey, we got it, in the bag, one more game and we're off, or we're Canada West champions and we're off as top seed type thing. I'm not sure. But I know for our group, we just didn't stop believing. We just constantly stuck together. And I remember in that, like, Pascal Villana brought that in into our playoff run. But just the fact that, we have limited time together and we just enjoy being around each other so much. And it was like, hey, we need to just continue to battle for each other as long as we can, because we want to, then that buys us more time together, and it's going to be more fun along the way. So it was great. Like, I just remember in the hotel before, we just had an awesome, talk, and we were just all in together, and we just went into that game playing as underdogs and playing loose, and we ended up pulling it out, and I just winning that championship on the road there against that kind of team for the first one ever was something I'll never forget for sure. And it was just so much fun, and it was incredible. And I have a family there too. I'm from Calgary, so I was there. So my family was there, and I had my son Caleb was, 6-7 months at the time or something like that, and he was even there and came on the ice and celebrated after with us. So it was a very special moment.
Yeah, I bet. Just the team you guys took down, the just knowing that you're from Calgary, just being able to do that with your family, they're absolutely phenomenal. We're going to take our first commercial break here in this episode, Graeme. We're going to continue talking about UBC, just the championship years that you guys have been able to have with you as the head coach. I've been joined by Graeme Thomas, head coach of the University of British Columbia's women's hockey team program, here on Coffee with Graeme on this segment of Inside the University. Stick around. More Coffee with Graeme after this commercial break.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you, with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions. Of course, we are live right now on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our website at astvproductions.com, as well as our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. Of course, this episode a day later than it would have been due to some technical difficulties today on this Wednesday morning. I'm here with Graeme Thomas, head coach of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds women's hockey team. I've just been talking to Graeme about that first season. He became the head coach of the team, and this UBC team able to have what was considered the greatest turnaround in U Sports history across all sports, taking a team that won only one game the season before and making them Canada West champions. Let's go back to, before that season even started in 2012, 2013, when you got the job of being the head coach of this team. Just take me back to how it came to be for you to become the head coach of UBC.
Yeah, that's a good question. It was actually another quite wild story. I was in Syracuse. Before that, I was coaching, obviously, just in Calgary with a bunch of male and female programs, and was actually looking to go. Was lucky enough to the National Sport Academy to work with a lot of amazing, male athletes mostly, and then some female athletes that have played it from the NHL level all the way kind of down. And so I spent a good 10 years there coaching. I got into it at a young age, coaching after a very short pro career. So I was always thinking of going into the male stream of the game, and I got an opportunity at Ken Babby to get involved at the college game and continue to be a skills coach provider at National Sport Academy to coach at SAIT, the women's team. Scott Rivet actually just had stepped away, who's currently the head coach at Mount Royal. And we're going to have some more good battles next year again. They got a great team. So anyways, got to know him at that moment and kind of took the program over as he stepped away for some family things, and just got involved in the university game for the first time, and just had a lot of fun. And actually UFC was in that, and Danielle Goyette was in that ACAC league at the time as well. And yeah, just really enjoyed it, and got married in that January, and just really, family is really important to me, and wanted to raise a family and set up, and as best we can to do that and support to support my family. And so we got married, and then in that I got a really supportive wife and hockey wife. Her brothers both played and actually coached them too. And it was so we, at the end of the season, and we went on a honeymoon down to Florida. So we went and did, I think, a little bit of the Bahamas, and we came up to Disney World. And then I convinced her to swing into Naples, and we go to this NCAA coaching conference. And so she would be at the pool hanging out during the day, and I'd be at this, NCAA coaching conference. And I ended up just kind of meeting people. I didn't know anybody there. And I met Paul Flanagan, who is coming over from the male side for a long time, and then just switched over into the St. Lawrence and the women's side, and had a lot of success. And he was there taking over the Syracuse University program, and he was starting from scratch. And so we just got chatting and talking, and kind of hit it off. And he said, well, the athletic director's at the beach. I want you to meet him. I said, well, my wife's at the hotel, and so we can all hang out and connect and get to know each other and talk this through, as I never even have ever been to Syracuse before. Didn't even really know where it was. So we ended up talking, and we ended up leaving that trip with the job to Syracuse, and officially got all the paperwork done and all that in kind of June, and moved out there again in kind of like a June, July. And another crazy summer, we had to put a team together, literally start a team. They didn't have a puck, Graeme. They didn't have anything. It's the first time ever that they've had hockey there. And so we were kind of the pioneers of starting this program, and we had to kick it off and recruit players and bring players in, and brought some Western Canadian players with me. And it was again, just an amazing experience, and learned a lot from Paul on how to build a program, and learned from mistakes, and just like everything in life. And so anyways, ended up there for 4 years. We had a great run, actually. And we were one of the first teams to be ranked in the top 10 and as a new expansion program. And we did really well. And It was a lot of fun there and learned a lot. And so anyways, and so my son was at the end of those 4 years, my son was kind of just being born, but he was in the ICU and he had some difficulties, and I just felt like a call. I wasn't sure like what, if we should stay at Syracuse or if we should come back and get back into the male game. There's an opportunity there. And I looked around a bunch of other opportunities kind of, to grow and continue in the area. And those were all falling short. And so I went and talked to my wife, and it was the most stressful time. I wasn't sure if our son was even going to make it. And I said, yeah, I'm not sure that we should be, that we're going to stay here at Syracuse, or I just feel like, there's something else there that we're getting called to, or that opportunity is going to be. And she was ready to kill me, right? Like she's thinking about moving, and, I've got a, situation with our family here. And anyways, and I applied, I talked to UBC in like April, because a colleague of mine told me about the opportunity that the coach was leaving. And so I reached out back in April, and I didn't hear from them until the beginning of June. And so I just written off UBC. I just thought, that opportunity is done. They filled it, or they're not interested in what kind of thing, that kind of thing. And so we had other plans kind of in place, or maybe, obviously staying or not sure yet. It was just so much uncertainty. And then all of a sudden, Teresa Hansen emails me back. We have the interview, fly out, come and check it out. And it just moved. It went like so fast once the process started. And just the opportunity, then opened up, and we decided to make the move and move back. And so we trekked the family across, and like I said, we were out there just trying to get settled and figure our things out in like July. And so it was just really crazy how it all came together, and just trying to kind of learn who everybody is and what were the incoming players, and trying to connect and get to know everybody a little bit. And then it was just off to the running right after that. So that's kind of how it happened. I think in this industry, there's a lot of unknown and a lot of, risk that you have to take. And that's just part of being a coach, and you're ready to kind of move your family, whenever there's that opportunity or that right fit. Or, I learned a lot from Paul and from my experience there at Syracuse, and we're very appreciative and respectful of the things that happened there, and things I learned. And then we just kind of took that on, and we're ready to get that opportunity as a head coach. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it all happened. So.
Yeah, well, thankfully, they ended up reaching you after, a long time of that uncertainty, because it's probably the best thing that ever happened to this program, just the success that you were able to have. Let's go back to just touch on Syracuse. You had a chance to go there and serve as an assistant and associate coach at Syracuse, working with all aspects of team operations, and was the team's recruiting coordinator. You helped build and develop that team from into a team that had success like you had early on. Just speak about that experience of helping build up and develop a program, signing and having players commit, and just how that really helped you with your transition into UBC.
Yeah, it was just an invaluable experience. Like Paul was a very good recruiter, and he was one of those recruiter. He did it, like I said, on the men's side for a long time, and he's very dedicated to it. There's some times, and even I'm guilty of doing that right now as the head coach. Sometimes it just falls on the assistant coaches more to do some more of the traveling and recruiting. And I just, one thing I learned a lot from Paul is just putting the work in and putting the time in. And, he would go as a head coach to a lot of these camps, or he'd go to a lot of these rinks, and just make sure that the recruiting, that's a very important thing, is you get the right people and the right fit for your program. And so that's probably one of the biggest things I'd take away from that recruiting experience, is having to kind of learn how it works. And, from the very beginning of that, and learning how that recruiting process works, to then kind of running up and kind of overseeing it and managing it in that role. And so I learned a lot of things, made some mistakes for sure, and learned from that. But what I learned in my time there, taking that over to UBC, was extremely valuable for me on just how to get out there and get connected with coaches and programs and players, and then get the right fit. And again, it's never an exact science recruiting, and people change, or people come in, and the expectations and things happen in everybody's life that affects things. And it can always be perfect. And I think this player is going to fit in here. Or I think they can fill that role. Or I think they're going to grow like this. So it really is kind of an animal on its own. But you just try to do your best. And we've made some mistakes along the way. And Mike Summer, who's been working with me now for a long time at UBC as an assistant, he's done a great job of that and taking it over. And same thing, we've had a little bit of this in our recruiting, and learned a lot of things along the way. But I think we're perfecting it and continuing to put a lot of work into it, and learn about, if you get the right people with the right character and the right, skill set that you need within your program, or you want to kind of cultivate and build and grow on, then it makes it easy. And you get those right people in the room, it really takes care of the culture as well. Everyone protects the culture, and everyone's givers to the culture instead of takers. And I think that's a big thing, is doers. We want doers and people that are giving back into the culture. And then we have some of our older players that love and respect how good it is and how fun it is. So they protect it. And then it just kind of trickles down, and you bring the right characters and people in. And that all starts with recruiting. So bringing the right families and the right players into that culture. And then it kind of takes care of itself, and then becomes a lot easier to manage.
I had a chance to speak to Tatiana Rafter earlier in, I guess in 2020 now, and had a chance to talk about her time at UBC, and she had nothing but praise for you. Just having players like Tatiana and so many others come into this program, just what's that been like to just experience having these high level players, and not only great players, but great individuals come into this program and have success like Tatiana and others have had?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the most rewarding parts of it. I know the winning the championships and just winning games is a lot of fun, and you remember those moments in your life for sure. But I think watching how these players grow, and Tatiana had already been there for a few years. So never kind of got to see her from years 1 to 5 kind of grow through the program. But the amount that she went through in her life, and the amount of growth that she had in her time with us, was incredible. She made mistakes like everybody, and no one's perfect, and off ice and on ice. But she was really dedicated, and she really wanted to get better, and she really wanted to become a better teammate as well, and a better person and better student. And I just think of that as her culture. When she came in, she was one of the ones that kind of came up with this, did you get better today? And which was our theme that year, is just getting better in every area. As we were the lowest athletic performing team in that year prior coming in, but we were also academically the worst team. So we had to set new standards academically. And then, as of late, and especially in their COVID year, there hasn't been a lot of athletic things to focus on as much, and besides just development and things like that. But it's hard to see those necessarily. So the off-ice, like our academics, are just the highest. We keep setting new standards and new standards and new standards, and of all academic Canadians and our GPA, and we just keep moving up the ranks, even within a very competitive UBC athletics program. So that's been a lot of fun, and that started back with Rafter and those players that came in that year that set and bought into that new standard and that new academic standard as well. So it was amazing, and she just graduated, and watched her graduate through, and was amazing. And at the time, Pavel Barber, that's funny. I don't know if she talked about that, but he was just getting started at UBC as well, and he's a he's a social media sensation now, and you should have him on this program. But he would rent ice, or he'd be around the rinks all the time, and he ended up working with some of our players. So Tatiana just wanted to get better, and so to watch her work with us, and she stayed in the summer and just trained and got better, and got the most fit she's ever been, and just kept working on her skills. And so to watch her come through and represent Canada at FISU games, and set the records of scoring titles and helping this program, and it was just amazing to see, and then go on to a very successful professional career. It was a really fun to watch. So didn't even just staying connected with her today. And it's obviously not just her, you bring her up, but to the bigger picture of your question you asked, like watching all the players and staying connected with all the players, and and watching them grow, and when they graduate, it's a big thing for us. We make our graduation out of our program a very important celebration of how they've grown, of what they've done, and for this program, and how they've matured and over their time here. So it's something that we take very seriously, and we really work hard and with our players, and it's not always easy. Like I said, like everything, we kind of iron sharpens iron, and you got to have those tough conversations, and you got to challenge each other. And we are open to players challenging us and having those kind of chats and those conversations along the way. And that's how we all kind of get better and help each other grow. So it is amazing part of the university atmosphere and the coaching that I really enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just been a great experience for you, like you said, to just be able to not only see Tatiana, but these other players do what they've been able to do. And like you said about Pavel Barber, Mr. Barber, if you're watching, I would love to have you on the show. Talked to him a few times in the DMs about just analysis and stuff like that. Just like you said, a social media sensation, and one of the best set of hands that I've ever seen on a hockey player out there. But just for you guys.
He really worked at it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great to see what he's been able to do for the hockey community, especially on social media, just filling that niche of making training fun and stuff like that. But just talking about the back-to-back championship seasons that you guys had in Canada West, in 2015-16, winning the Canada West title for the second time. It's been said that it's been arguably the school's most successful season. You guys finished second place with a record of 13-9-3-3 that year, and you guys, ended up battling once again in those playoffs to get that championship. Just speak about what that was like to see this group that you guys had at the time be able to go out and win that second championship in school history.
Yeah, the back-to-back one was something extremely special. I mean, they all are, and they're all different, but they're all a lot of fun and unique. And but that one was amazing, and winning that on home ice and being able to host that, and do that with that core kind of group, that incoming freshman group that was a part of the turnaround season. That group ended up winning 3 championships in 5 years, and they just took off. They learned how to win, and they bought into that, and they just had a great mix of character. And Steph Schoppmeyer was our captain, and one of the key players through that. But she also, that there's just so many of them with Nicole Saxvik and Parhar, and that whole group honestly was amazing to see. So to go through that with them. We came up a little bit short, obviously, at nationals, and finishing a silver medal there, and then in their last year, a bronze medal. So feel really bad that we couldn't have brought home a national title with that group. But yeah, it was something. It was very special, and the back-to-back championship is just so hard to do. Like, I know Alberta and other programs have done it in Canada West, and Canada West is such a competitive conference, and hockey in general. It's hard to win in our sport. and male or female, it's tough. And so we, in kind of the modern day, it hasn't been done very often. And so, because it's so competitive on any year, I honestly feel like our top 4 teams in our conference, at least could go to nationals and be competitive and do really well. So, it's tough. It's tough to just have 2 teams get there, and it's tough to be the ones to kind of win it. And even go back to our first championship, we could have been content with just getting to nationals and being, punching that ticket. And same thing the year after, we've already punched a ticket, and we were kind of maybe the number 1 seed or top seed, and we could have been got complacent. And that's where just testament to the players. They just hated to lose. They love to win, and they just loved winning championships and winning hockey games. And it was a lot of fun when you get a team that loves to do that, and is capable and has the talent as well, and the character, and it all comes together, because it is not easy to do. And like I said, it's very competitive. So it was amazing, and always remember those moments.
Yeah, and we're going to continue just talking about you guys going to nationals in those championship years, and diving into the 2016-17 season as well, the second year of that back-to-back championships. Coming up after this break, I've been joined by Graeme Thomas, head coach of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds women's college hockey team program, here on Coffee with Graeme on Inside the University. Stick around for more Coffee with Graeme on Inside the University after these commercial breaks.
Welcome to Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mountain Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme here on ASTV Productions. Of course, I've been joined by head coach of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds here on Inside the University, Graeme Thomas. Of course, we are live right now on ASTV Productions on Facebook, Amateur Sports TV on Twitter, and on our website at astvproductions.com. Special thanks to everyone that's taken the time out of their Wednesday morning to tune into this episode so far. Of course, I've just been talking to Graeme about the journey with UBC, just those championship seasons, and a whole lot of other stuff as well. Just diving into that 2016-17 season now, or even before that, the Nationals in 2015-16, where you guys ended up, getting better, placing better since your last time, going to the championship game, falling short against Montreal, losing that game 8-0. But just to see the growth of this program into taking that next step into making it to the championship and nationals, just how exciting was that to see in that run that year of you guys being able to do that?
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Again, got to be, it was hosted in Calgary at their beautiful new WinSport facility, and it was a great setup and great tournament. And we had to beat McGill to get into that game, and we were playing the top seeded Guelph team in the semifinals. And Geez, Graeme, you're bringing back all these memories here. Trying to think back, but yeah, it was. I mean, obviously had getting through that McGill game was it was extremely tough. They're an amazing team, and have some Olympians on the team, and it was a big win to get into that semis, and then we had to go against the number one seeded. I feel like in all of our nationals runs, we've always had tough matchups. But again, that's what you got to expect at nationals, and you play against great teams and great programs. And McGill's another program we seem to see a lot at nationals, and obviously one of the most decorated programs as of the U of A as well in Canada. So it was some great battles there. And then that Guelph game, we went to overtime. We scored in overtime. Then they called the goal back on goalie interference. So they had to, I think it was Kathleen Cahoon, maybe tipped it, or Logan Boyd. One of them got called back. I forget now exactly, but anyways, goal gets called back, finish out the overtime, got to collect the team. We're all excited and think we're going to the final, going to collect the team, rally them back up. Then we go finish that out, nothing. And then we go into a shootout, and I don't even remember. I think it was like 9 rounds of the shootout. Wow. And nobody was scoring. And Danielle Dubé was a rock in there, and they had the player of the year, goalie and net on the other side. So great goaltending battle. And I remember it's still one of my favorite stories, actually. So funny you bring it up. As a coach, so this player, Hanit Parhar, on our team, and she was just a great character. She's actually coming back and coaching with us this year, and has coached with us another year as well, and has got her law degree in between. And she's just heart and soul player, kind of walk on, and just an amazing story, and of how she developed in her career and the type of player she turned into. And anyway, so I don't think she's taken a shootout all year in all of our games. And she put her stick away, and she was just on the bench, just cheering. And I remember, so I go to her and I said, that move we've been working on, and this doesn't happen very much as a coach. It's making me sound like it was something, this doesn't happen very often, just so you know. So this wasn't me. This was a Hanit, how she did this. But I said, remember this move that I taught you? We've been working on it in the shootout. She had this kind of move that she kind of came to me during the years, like, hey, can you give me a move? I don't have a move. Like, give me something to do that works. I said, well, this is what I used to do, and do this move. And so she'd worked on it a lot, and in the fun shootouts that we'd had during the year in practice. Anyways, just for whatever reason, I just thought, you know what the heck, let's go. I said, Pars, you're going in next, and you're doing that move. And she just looked up at me like almost like had her gloves off, skates undone on the bench type thing. Like, not a chance I'm going in, right? And she was like, what? Really? I'm like, yeah, you got this. And Cahoon, I think, scored a big goal to kind of push it to go into another round to save us. And so we had a chance to win. Dubes makes the save at the other end. Hanit scores, we win, and we're going to the final for the first time ever. And Hanit grabs her stick, and she goes out there, and she just perfectly executes this move and scores the goal, comes around, is the hero, like, unbelievable. Our bench clears. Cahoon, I think, hit her so hard, she ended up cutting her nose in the celebration. She's bleeding from the nose. Wow. And the whole team just dog piles on her. And it was an amazing memory. And so proud to see her execute that and perform under that kind of pressure. So it was an amazing moment in time for sure.
Yeah, and just what a story for sure. Just how that all came to be for her to be in the shootout and for her to do what she did. Just looking at it, being to play the championships in Calgary. Just what was that like? Just being able to experience all you guys had in Calgary in those nationals.
Yeah, it was. Again, just it was amazing. It was on, I think, Cassie Campbell, and she was doing. They had the coverage, right? It was on TV, which is great. It's not something that we're used to seeing, And so that was some coaching adjustments as well. I think we one of our strengths all year, and we get to national final, was the depth of our team, and that we could roll lines and everyone could contribute and play. And so I think that went into a little bit of factor in the final, because Montreal, like, wow, they had a strong team that year. And we had a lot more commercial breaks and things. And so it was an amazing experience. On one hand, you got to see on TV, and the players got to be a part of that excitement, going up to it and playing in it and have that memory. It was really quite something. But it was unfortunate how we started in that final game against Montreal, and they just came out extremely hard, and they had a couple lines that they just kept coming at us, and everything just seemed to be going in the back of the net, and so it was really unfortunate how that game finished up, and that Nationals finished for us being in the final for the first time. But it's still, again, we had an amazing run. We had to go through two of the other top teams in order to get to that final. So we're really proud of the group and what we accomplished that year, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. Just unreal that it got broadcasted that year. And you guys were able to get that coverage like you did. Going into 2016-17, that second title in as many as 2 years, going back to back, you guys go 24-3-1. The program set some milestones. You guys became the first UBC hockey team to be ranked number 1 nationally during the regular season. The team rattled off a school record 15 straight wins, on your way to an all-time program best 23 regular season victories. You were tied in terms of victories for the most in Canada West history, and you guys also held the ranking of number 1 in the country for 15 straight weeks. Just to look back at that season, knowing this team was hungry to get back to the Nationals, to see that type of dominance, just what did it come down to? Was it just that determination, just the skill you guys had? What exactly went into you guys having that type of season in 2016-17?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot had built up to that for us. We were a very senior heavy team, which was really impressed with those groups after, which, maybe you can talk about that, how well they did to keep that standard up. But we had, we maybe lost 10 or 11 players graduated that year, maybe 9, and then a few to some injuries and some other things the previous year. So it was just we were a very deep, experienced veteran team, and a lot of those players were in their 4th year, but they'd won those championships in coming in when I first came in that first year, and that turnaround year. So this was like their senior years, the Parhars, the Shopmeyers, the Saxvics, that crew, that group. And we'd added some transfers, some NCAA transfers as well, and Bill Graeme and Murray and Amelia Bond. And so we just kind of all came together, where we already had this really strong, deep group. We've already learned a lot. We knew how to win. We were determined from that Montreal loss the year before to come out strong and have a really good season, and finish strong. And like I said before, a little bit, like once that culture was set, and then the culture police, and we're maintaining that culture as we went along, those leaders and even the players that were in the letters, just that entire core group, the Emily O'Neill, the Jenna Carpenter Bosch, that group, like literally they just kind of took it and policed it, and everyone just followed suit. And it was, I hate to say it, but it was easy. It was like once we got to that level, and we had that many veteran core players that just knew what to do. As coaches, we did not interfere in much. They just took care of the locker room, and then we just went out there and played, and they just loved winning. It was that same group, and it was their senior year, and we just got in that groove of winning, and that streak was something special, and it was just a lot of fun to be a part of. It really was. It really makes me. We haven't competed now for a long time. But talking to you this morning, it's really, stirred up a lot of fire in the belly here to get back to competing and playing again, because it is so much fun to do it. And so yeah, that year was amazing, and for them to come back and set history, and we set so many records in that year, and then to kind of do it with that group and finish it with the championship again was truly amazing.
Yeah, and even though you guys fell short and weren't able to get that gold medal with that team after the phenomenal season you guys had, just to be able to finish with the bronze, just to get back to the championships, the national championships, have a season like you guys had, absolutely just insane just how consistent this program has been. And even though you guys haven't won a championship in Canada West since 2016-17, it's clear that you've built a type of program that's going to be competitive year in and year out. Just speak about what it's been like since the championship seasons, even though you guys haven't been able to get back to that level of winning a Canada West title, but just to see the consistency of you guys always being in the mix.
Perfect. I think we cut out a little bit there. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Can you hear me good now?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah.
We'll
no, honestly, yeah, I heard most of that, so I think we're good. Yeah, it's been tough. Like I said, I think the players that were, it was such a large group that graduated, and so those players learned a lot from them, and they did their absolute best, to kind of keep up that tradition and keep up, that winning and going for it and giving their best. But I think that's where some of that pressure came in, and it was a lot. There's some big shoes to fill, and it was tough. But like you said, I think that's our goal year in and year out, is just to put a competitive team together. And I give kudos to a lot of that team and that for the years after, because we didn't have to have the big regrowth years where we didn't make the playoffs, or we didn't finish in the top four, or we didn't make a push for it, and try to win or be competitive to win. And that's something that we take a lot of pride in, is that we've been in the hunt every year, we've been in the fight, and that's something where, again, credit to those players. And we've had some unfortunate, just kind of, it happens in every program, but we've had some kind of injuries and unfortunate things kind of happen where we lost some key players, or we lost some personnel late in summers, that kind of stuff. And we had to, we were missing just that kind of, maybe that one player, and we had a lot of close games. And I've even looked at our last year going to that before COVID kind of, I guess that was that COVID year, because it ended up canceling that nationals. But in that playoff run, just how our team came together and pushed so hard and won some massive overtime wins in Saskatchewan against a great veteran team, and a great program with the Huskies as well. So being able to do that and go against the Pandas, who again were kind of a very senior, heavy group with some amazing talent in there, and to push them as far as we did, it is kind of 1-goal games all the way through, basically, and some tough games, but close games. So to be kind of right in there and be right in that hunt all the way through in all of our seasons, it's something that we're really proud of our group of doing, and something that really is our goal. So really excited about that. We're really happy with our group. Now we've got a core group who's ready to win. They know how to win. They've seen it. We've built a lot of character and leadership through that group over the years. They've been through the ups and downs, and you know what? And it's kind of like a little bit back to my first year of that vibe in that locker room with our veteran group. Is like they're tired of losing. And it's not like we're losing. Like I said, we're always in the fight. But we went through our longest losing streak was that last season that we finished, and we fought through it, and we ended up pulling through and getting back to being a goal or two away to go into the nationals again. And So we're really proud that we figured it out and came together late. But I think that group is just, they want to win. They haven't won now. We graduated kind of the last class that had been a part of the winning group, and so they're eager and hungry to win for this program and do it, for the Thunderbirds, and they've learned a lot in their time here, and then we also have a great group of incoming freshmen of like basically 2 classes of it. So it's a strange year, and we're going to have a bit of a large group at training camp, but I think we got a great mix, and we've got it's kind of a great incoming class as well. We've got a good balance of some experience in leadership and young youth and talent. It really does remind me of our first year back in that kind of 12 or 2012 season, in my first season with the Thunderbirds. So we're really excited about next year. We just hope that we're going to be allowed to play it full out. It is going to be a bit of a modified year, but just fingers crossed that we can get back to competing and get back to playing for a championship and a national title again. But we feel like we really do have an exciting group coming in, and an exciting group, core group already here, ready to compete. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting and so fun to see just what these programs in the Canada West Conference are going to be able to bring to the table this season. You spoke about scouting earlier on in the show and how it's basically never a sure thing. Just as the years have gone along with you, being the head coach of this team, just going through the experiences of bringing in players year in and year out, how do you feel like at this point in terms of scouting that you guys are able to scout the players like you guys have been able to?
Yeah, and it's gotten kind of younger and younger, as of when the commitments are happening. I mean, we already, have some 2004s committed, a couple great forwards out of Alberta. And, for us, like, we're just, some of the transfers, like Joelle Fiala is transferring from us, and unfortunate news there at Robert Morris. And we're just happy to be able to provide her home. She's a very dedicated student athlete. It's going to bring a lot to our program, excuse me, this year. And to some of the transfers that have happened, and even with, Grace Elliott, it's just, we have this culture, we have this reputation out there, and we also have just a very amazing academic school. It's one of the top schools in the world, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because it's like an Ivy League in that sense, but we're competing against some of the top programs in the country and in the world, really academically. But it also makes it extremely tough to get those players in and make sure that they qualify and get in everything, because it is a hard school to get into, and also to stay at UBC, and it's a rigorous and it's a tough program depending on the academic program you're in. So it's extremely tough. But at the same time, it's very attractive for a lot of driven and academically, and players that want to do well in their careers and in their life. And so it's and because we got a good hockey program and a reputation of that, this just it attracts some of these transfers, and it attracts some of these players that want to come here or stay closer to home, or whatever their case is in their scenarios and their individual situations. So that kind of helps as well. That's part of it. We've obviously had some great transfers over the years come in from winning programs, and whether it's Emily Costalis and Brie Bellerive, and I'd already talked about Murray and Bill Grain and Bond, and there's a lot there that players that have transferred to our program that have been really high-end players as they grew up and in their provinces and their programs and in their universities down in the States, and they've come back. And honestly, the pro university hockey in Canada is really improved in my time here. It's something I wanted to make sure I talked about on this program. Like, it's incredible, the level of hockey and how much it's improved. So the players that are staying, the players that are transferring back, it really has It's amazing hockey, and we've got a great product, and we've got great, amazing women that are doing a lot in the communities and doing a lot in the classroom, and obviously on the ice as well. So it's amazing to see. And I was a part of that kind of U Sports kind of group with the Hockey Canada, where we got to have an all-star kind of U Sport all-star team, and we didn't even have, to be honest, our best players eligible, and we had to pay to play, and they had to pay to play and play against the U22 group, and just to see us do really well and compete with them and beat them, but also just have really close games with them ever since. So it's been amazing just to show kind of the level of athlete that the U Sports is that we have in Canada, and that those athletes that are playing there in our league and across Canada. So it's been an amazing to watch that happen and watch the growth of the game as well. And yeah, but just back to the recruiting question, it just, for us, it happens at young. Like, we got to really watch, these players at a young age now, and it's been challenging during COVID because you haven't been able to really see them play and compete. And so we're watching video, you're talking to coaches, and you're, it'll be interesting to kind of see how that happens. But I also really feel for those players in grade, 10, 11, well, last year's 10s, but 11s and 12s in this graduating class, because there's a lot less opportunities out there as well. And then with Robert Morris and a few programs, and even like Lethbridge dropping their programs, it's, there's been transfers there as well, and all across Canada and the US. So there's just less spots available right now, in North America. So it's tough, and some players are coming back, and we have one super senior coming back, and Kenzie Robinson, and from Manitoba as well. And so it's just tough because it's very competitive for spots right now. So it's a really hard thing. I really feel for some of those players in high school right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, like you said, a program like Robert Morris folding, and just like you said, with that happening, Lethbridge. I remember, I'm not sure what year it was, but around like mid 2010s, I believe it was like 2016, 17. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but North Dakota's program folded as well, and it's just it sucks that it goes that way. But going back to your point about just Canada West, the U Sports, in general, just Canada West in general, it was always kind of Alberta dominating for most of the time. And then the 2010s hit, Manitoba started winning near the end of like the early 2000s. Like 2000 to 2010, and then of course you guys, Calgary, Saskatchewan, Regina, all start winning. So it's great to see how competitive this Canada West Conference has truly gotten, and it's going to be exciting to see what not only your team's going to be able to do this year, but like I said, all the other teams as well. Let's leave off with this question. After a year of not being able to compete due to the COVID-19 pandemic, not allowing you guys to have a season, just what can we expect from this UBC team this upcoming season in that quest for potentially another Canada West title?
Yeah, I think we can expect, this will be with this will just be in general in our conference. And I know there's other hungry teams, and Mount Royal in particular, they've added some great transfers. They already have a great group. And they unfortunately, set history for their program, in the last season we had, and then their nationals, got pulled away from them. So I expect them to be very hungry and come back. And so it's kind of a little bit, like I said, I think for our core group, I think we're just going to be very hungry, very hungry group. We've been very close to winning, and we've just just every year, just right there. And so this kind of senior group they're very hungry, and they want to go after it. They want to win in their final years. And so I think we've got a very deep group. And so we're going to be a competitive team. We've got a young kind of trio of goaltenders that are kind of unproven, I guess you could say. So look for that to be an interesting battle, but all very capable. But then from our back end out, we're very solid in our D core. And I look at those years that we won, we built it from the back end out. And so we got great goaltending, we got great defense. And so with the addition of a few of these forwards and some of our incoming forward group and our current forward group that's hungry, I think it's going to be a good combination. So I'm excited. It's exciting. We get Trinity to have a provincial rival now, which is great. So it's great to see, even though some programs are folding, it's great to see that there are other programs across Canada as well that are coming in. There's been, I guess, 4 now in the last couple of years. So it's great to see that we are still growing our game and growing our conference. So it'll be great to have a crosstown rival there. But I think our group will be kind of mature, we'll be hungry, and we'll be very competitive and ready to make a splash this year.
It's going to be exciting to see. And, if you guys are able to make a splash and, be in contention like you guys usually are, we'll have you back on the show sometime once the season gets rolling here. Graeme Thomas, UBC women's hockey head coach, joined me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on Inside the University. It was great chatting with you for about an hour and over like 11 minutes, just looking at the time here. It was great, Graeme. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll talk again in the future.
Thank you. Big fan, and thanks for having me. And I got to get a coffee refill and have a great rest of your summer. Enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks. And speaking of that, I got to refill my mug. I'm going to let Graeme go now. We're going to go to another commercial break here in the show, and I'll be back with head coach of the Swift current Legionnaires in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League, Keleher, and going to talk about their billet recruitment drive that they got going on right now, running on their Facebook. Stick with me, Graeme Forsyth, host of Coffee with Graeme. We'll be back for more of Coffee with Graeme after these commercial breaks.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind, with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Of course, we just finished a very long interview with head coach of the UBC Thunderbirds women's college hockey team on Inside the University, Graeme Thomas. Lots of fun doing that interview. We now move into the second guest, bringing him on now on today's edition of Coffee with Graeme, head coach of the Swift current Legionnaires in the Saskatchewan AAA Hockey League, Keleher, on this edition of the show to just talk about the billet recruitment drive that this team is doing. Chris, first off, I know that we got you on a bit later than expected, but great for you to join us on the show today, or join me on the show today. How are you doing on this Wednesday morning?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. I'm excited to talk about this billet recruitment drive that you guys got going on. Of course, this team partnered with Home Hardware. You guys are running this until August 20th. Just speak about what the idea was behind doing this billet recruitment drive and to just post it on your Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we've been probably about 2 months ago, the early part of June is when we, started to look for billets for this season. So what we did was talk to our current billets from last year, see who's on board again, see who wasn't going to be, and then that way we'd know, okay, we need X number of billets. So what we started to do was reach out to our contacts around Swift Current and do some different things. And then it was about last week, I think it was. Calendar turns to August, and we thought, okay, we got to ramp things up here. We're still looking for quite a few billets. So we actually got this idea. The Tisdale Trojans in our league did this last month. It is something really similar, and they got their billet quota within about 2 weeks. So I talked with their coach, talked with their billet coordinator, and said, hey, thinking about stealing your idea. What do you guys think of that? And they were good. They were obviously want to support each other. We compete on the ice, but when it comes to things like this, I mean, you're not trying to one up anybody or anything like that. So they were awesome, kind of share their ideas, and that's what we did. We started this, the official billet recruitment drive. Before that, we attached, a cash prize to it. So if anyone shares or likes our Facebook posts or refers a family to us that then ends up turning into a billet family, then their name goes in a draw for $500. So that's the first thing we did, just to try to incentivize a little bit. And then now doing this billet recruitment drive, we got a poster on our Facebook page that we list all of our billets, and then as we get them, we add their names to the poster. So it's had a lot of hits. Every day it's anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 views and lots of likes and shares. So, and that was the biggest thing. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the likes and shares, people see it and it takes 2 seconds to like it and share it, and hey, maybe I can win $500 out of this. But the biggest thing for us was just to spread the word and cast a wide net. We're down to 7 now, which is still a high number with less than 3 weeks until move-in day. But, that number was double digits a week or so ago. So we're chipping away slowly. But yeah, that's how the idea started. And I give credit to Tisdale, and we appreciate them letting us take their idea.
Yeah, just great to see teams in the league helping each other out like that. Just talking about billets, kind of like the families giving these players opportunities, giving them a place to live. You've had current players and former players like Drayden Vitson, who's a former player, and current player in Carter Cormier, just talk about what these billets do for them and the praise that they've given. How nice has it been to just see the former player like Drayden and a current player like Carter given praise like this to the billets?
Yeah, it's been good. And that was kind of part of our the whole billet recruitment drive was, hearing from players, whether they're current or they're alumni. We're going to be posting some videos from billets just to hear that side of things. When a guy like Dre, he only spent 1 year in Swift Current last year. And then with the shortened season because of the pandemic, we played 6 games and he was only here till, February. So, he enjoyed his time in Swift Current. He enjoyed his time in his billets, and he shared that in his video. And then with Corms, he's I coached him previously his first year at Bantam, and he came to us last year, and he's going to be entering his second year with us this year. So he's a really good kid, and he's going to be he's going to lead the way for us this year. But for him to do that and share his experience with his billets, and he's returning to the same billet family, and just having that from a player's perspective, I think it shows how important them them having a family open their home to them and allowing them to pursue their goals on and off the ice is good to see. You know, and then coming up the next couple of days here, actually today we're going to put a video up of a current billet family. But hearing that side of things, I think is good. So anyone that that is interested in building, they can hear, you know, from the family side of things and you know, the positive outcomes that come from that, and you know, and how much families enjoy billeting, because it's, you know, we've done it for 3 years. Our when we moved to Swift Current 3 years ago, we billeted before before I took over the coaching job of the Legionnaires, and we had a player last year, just out of necessity. So, you know, we've seen it firsthand as well, and it's our billet families are a real important part of our program, and without them, we're not able to bring in these players from out of town and give them opportunities. So it's you know, for the boys to be able to do that, you know, we appreciated it.
Yeah, no doubt. Just great to hear for the player side of things, because you know that's the experience that matters right there, their side of things, and you know for them to give the praise like they have is just absolutely phenomenal to see. And Bill, it's just been such a huge part of a hockey player's lifestyle when they go out to move to these places, for them to offer a safe, you know, friendly environment is just absolutely phenomenal to see. Just speak about the FAQs, which are the frequently asked questions that have been asked, and just the answers that you guys have been able to provide so far during this billet recruitment drive.
Yeah, like the biggest questions we get, you know, it's what's expected of us, what do we need, what do we need to supply. You know, there's not much that a billet family needs. Obviously, you know, we want to put the boys in a, you know, a good safe home. So with that, we ask all of our billets to supply a criminal record check, just so we can, you know, just so we know that it's a safe home that the boys are gonna be going into, and it you know, the player's family and the player at obviously that comfort level is there when they know that they're going to a good home. So there's that, and then we just ask, you know, for the boys to have their own bedroom, be supplied with meals and snacks, you know, things like Wi-Fi and you know, the basic necessities, right, that every home has. And then some of our billets, they'll have spare bedroom furniture. So if they have an extra bed, an extra dresser, and TV, and things like that, and if they will allow the player to use that, then it's less things than he has to bring from home. You know, and then he's just bringing his clothes and, you know, PlayStation and stuff like that. And then there's other billets where they have a bedroom, an empty bedroom, and the player's got to bring his own bed and dresser and things like that. So those are the main questions we get. The time commitment, right, is obviously a big one too. And with that, it's end of August is move-in day, and then depending on how long our season goes for, our league regular season ends kind of middle of February, that February break week, and then playoffs. So, you know, if a team misses out on playoffs, and the commitment only goes till middle of February or so, and then depending on how long the playoff run goes for us, anywhere from, you know, early March to middle of April or so. But yeah, those are the main questions we get, and we just putting them on social media there, and, you know, again, for anyone interested in building, to go on there, see that, and say, okay, my questions are answered. That sounds good to us. And then hopefully from there they take the next step and contact us.
Yeah, it's great that you guys just make it simple like that and answering those frequently asked questions. And I think a great thing that you guys are doing is offering that $500 cash prize, just for people to share and like the post, you know, or any of our billet posts, like you guys said on your Facebook. Tell a friend or family member, refer us to may be interested in building, and then they're entered into that $500 cash prize giveaway. But speak about the other perks that you guys offer, just the benefits that you guys offer. I know that there's quite a bit, so just kind of take some time and break those down for us.
Yeah, so each billet family will get $400 $400 a month per player that they billet. And that's paid from the player's family right to the billet family, and that just helps cover things like food and to their kind of portion of the water or Wi-Fi or hydro, that sort of thing. Just because we don't want our billet families to, if you're in this to make money, it's you're doing it for the wrong reason, and you're not going to make money, right? And we don't want our billet families to have to pay out of pocket either. So that's the compensation they get per month. They get a couple seasons passes. They get invited to our year-end awards banquet, and they get recognition throughout the year. And we're looking at some different things too to try to recognize them. I think of some Western League teams, and many other teams. They'll have an on-ice presentation at some point during the year. And as I said a few minutes ago, billet families for us, they're a big part of our program, and without them, we're not able to bring these kids in from out of town. So we want to recognize them and show how much we appreciate what they do for us. So we're coming up with some different things, but and then a big part of it, and you heard it from Hvidson's video and Cormier's video, the opportunity that they give the players to pursue their on and off ice goals and give them a good home and be a positive role model for them. And it's the friendships that are made with not only the player, but even the player's family. Talking with a couple of our current billets the last couple of weeks, and there was players that they billeted 3-4 years ago that have come back and spent time with them and their family this summer and gone camping with them. And so it's those relationships that you build that can last a long time. And those are that's for me, that's a perk, and maybe the biggest perk of them all is to just know that you're a small part of helping the player, and then having that relationship once he moves on.
Yeah, and just great once again for players like Carter Cormier, who's a current player in grade, and Hvidson to just speak about the billets the way they did. You guys are putting up the post soon today. When is the post coming out today in terms of the billet recruitment drive on your guys' Facebook, and just speak more into depth of what the post is going to involve today?
Yeah, it's going to go up as soon as you and I are done here. So I'm going to put that up. What the video is, it's a current billet family. It's actually Cormier's billet. So they billet 2 of our players, and they've billeted for, I think this is going to be their 5th season, their 4th or 5th season. So they're just going to, it's a short video, but they're just going to share their experience and what they enjoy about billeting. And that's, having the video pieces, I think it just adds a different touch. We can continue to post the same poster every day, and or just have text. That doesn't really draw people in, right? I think posting some videos every couple of days. There's been more hits on our videos. So we just want to show off the whole billet program and hear from billet families. Post those perks and FAQs and. Just so that way any interested families, they basically have pretty much all their questions answered and know what they're getting into. Ideally they like what they see, and then they contact us, and and then for us it's pretty much just push it over the finish line, for lack of a better term. Answer any other questions they may have. But that's kind of the whole intent and purpose of our billet drive. And as I said, it's worked so far, maybe not as quick as we would have liked, but I'm confident that we're gonna we're going to have our full billet requirement here in the next, few days.
Yeah, for sure. There's 9 spots filled at this point, 7 remaining, and of course, if you guys want to check out their Facebook page, it's Swift Current Legionnaires. If you're in the Swift Current area and you want to get involved in being a billet, just check out their Facebook. Of course, if you guys have any questions, you can contact Chris. His number will be on their Facebook, as well as their billet coordinator, Jessica Keleher, as well. Chris, thanks for joining me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme and just talking about the billet recruitment drive. It's awesome what you guys are doing, just getting the word out there and being able to create this opportunity for the players on your team to get that support, get that safe environment to live in, like they are going to get if there's both families that get involved.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Chris Keleher, head coach of the Swift Current Legionnaires in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League, joining us as the second and final guest on this edition of Coffee with Graeme. I'm pretty sure I hear my dog scratching at the door to get outside, so I'm going to step back and take one final commercial break here on Coffee with Graeme. I'll be back without Chris to give you guys some final words on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Be back in just a moment. And welcome back to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. A bit out of breath right now because I went to go check if my dog needed to go outside, but I was just hearing things. He just ended up lying down. My dog, about 7 years, he's 7 years old now, so getting a bit older. Hips aren't the best, as they aren't the same as they used to be, but he's still trekking along. Loves to play ball and loves to run around and sit outside as well. But he's just lying down in my living room upstairs right now. Besides that, just moving into some final words here on Coffee with Graeme. Thank you to every one of our viewers for tuning in today and supporting ASTV Productions and Coffee with Graeme. Of course, I was joined by 2 great guests in today's episode. Of course, in the first part of this episode, and the longer interview, which lasted over an hour and 10 minutes or so, something like that. I was joined by Graeme Thomas, head coach of the University of British Columbia Thunderbirds women's hockey team on Inside the University. And of course, I was just joined by head coach of the Swift Current Legionnaires in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League, Chris Keleher. I want to thank those 2 guests for coming on the show, Graeme and Chris, for coming on and being the guests in Coffee with Graeme today, as well as our official sponsors of Coffee with Graeme in Fabricland Winkler and Evolve Green, as well as all the other sponsors that you guys saw in today's episode for sponsoring today's edition of Coffee with Graeme. The MJBL, which is the Manitoba Junior Baseball League, wraps up their regular season tonight. A lot of action going on in that league tonight, as there's a lot of placement to be determined as to where these teams will finish. Elmwood and Altona have the top 2 seeds locked up, so it's going to be exciting to see if there's going to be any changes in the standings tonight in that league. Of course, I'll be joined by I guess I haven't told anyone this yet, but we're going to have a guest lineup tomorrow consisting of the president of the MJBL, Jamie Bettens. He joined the show in an interview last night. We're going to use that. It's a pre-recorded interview. We're using that in the episode tomorrow morning, as well as we're going to be joined by a coach of the St. James A's in that league, as well as a player of the Elmwood Giants. And we're also going to be talking some softball as well on tomorrow's show, as Executive Director of Softball Manitoba, Don Klim, will be joining the show. If you guys want to find out who the two other guests besides Don and Jamie will be in tomorrow's show, check us out on our social media pages, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. And we're going to try to upload the post on Instagram as well of who the guests will be. We've been getting some weird messages of us putting out branded content, which could take away our account if we don't follow the guidelines. So if that message doesn't come up, you'll be able to see the post on Instagram as well at ASTV Productions. And yeah, that episode of Coffee with Graeme is going out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time all across our network. You can check that episode out on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, or simply go to our website at astvproductions.com to check out tomorrow's edition of the show. Going to be a lot of fun. It's an all Manitoba-based episode of Coffee with Graeme tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to sign off now. I've been your host of Coffee with Graeme, Graeme Forsyth, signing off now. Until I see you folks tomorrow, stay safe out there. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And yeah, until tomorrow on Thursday, I'll see you then at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. Peace out, everyone.